Oh my goodness, it feels good to be live. Today we are going to be talking about bro science. I put up a poll to see what you guys wanted to talk about, and this is what had the most votes. So we are going to go on YouTube actually and start off this bro science adventure. So we got the first thing you wow. So I looked up top bro science methods for cannabis. The first thing that comes up is Garden Talk with Mr. Grow It, talking about the new study on 60/60 drying. Strange cannabis bro science hacks that ended up working.
Feeling the love, not
Wow.
the congestion. Live Claritin Clear.
Gotta go ahead and mute my window for a minute. Aren't ads so annoying? I imagine that's science hacks bro science hacks that ended up working from the Dude Grow show. Yeah, no, let's start with that video.
Okay, I asked both ChatGPT and Google why anyone would put diapers in their grow. It was interesting. A lot of these, I don't know, I hung out on Saturday and just
Diapers in their grow.
And some of them are ridiculous. A lot of them have some validity, though. So I think just by going through some of the biggest fact or fiction of growing, I think we'll learn something.
Is this all you thought about? Scotty lost power and internet over the weekend due to a windstorm, and it was like utopian for you. Like I called him, and he was like depressed. Like, man,
Dude,
I
hang
have
on.
nothing.
Is your wife there?
Whatever bag he just pulled out,
Yes.
and it just gassed him.
Hey, you know what might help, man, is if you just took a bath.
How dare you?
Yeah.
All right, this is a pretty long video actually. I didn't look at the
I'm gonna
time.
talk to her later.
Oh, I like it. I play music for my plants. I have I used to do a Bluetooth speaker in the grow and used an old, smartphone I had on Wi-Fi to play Pandora or whatever. But then I just went to the sound machine. If you want to play something for your plants that's pleasurable as well, just go Google or Amazon, like Sleep Machine, Nature Sounds. This one has 6 different sounds.
So that's the weird.
Really preaching ease of use and things. So more to come on that.
Try to actually skip to something that's relevant.
Ease of use, man. I will shout out Bugby because he's teaching me. I'm learning online, not on the course on the free YouTube, but about the far red. Remember the far red lights were in vogue a couple years ago? And there's far red and there's deep red.
All right, so he said something about diapers in your cannabis grow, and I ended up Googling it and just reading something about it because they kind of have a long-winded kind of thing going on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I did want a little bit shorter, more comprehensive breakdown of what we're doing. I might have to look for a different video, but basically it says using diapers in containers. What about diapers for your plant growth? Say what? Yes, believe it or not. I don't like how that's written at all. Disposable diapers can keep your pot's soil from drying out, especially during warm, dry weather when the containers require frequent irrigation. Keep in mind it's fresh, clean diapers we're talking about. Yes, so don't piss and shit in your diapers. Just fill them with water. Diaper filling for moisture control. Basically just using it to get your moisture up and keep it up to a level that it's supposed to be in, I suppose. That's interesting. So is it just talking about the gel then? How to use diaper gel in plant soil. When using diapers in containers, start with the cheapest diapers at your local big box store. Otherwise, you may be better off just buying expensive gels at your garden center. Tear open the diaper and dump the contents in the mixing bowl. Do not bother picking out the little cottony bits. They absorb water too. Add water until you see... And add the water until you have a thick gel, and then mix the equal parts in potting soil. Put the stuff in a pot, and you're ready to plant. Interesting. A couple other directions here. If you don't want the fuss and muss of ripping into diapers, just peel away the layer that goes against the baby's bottom, and then place the entire diaper in the bottom of a container. With the plastic side facing down. If the container is large, you may need more than one diaper, be sure to poke a couple holes in the plastic so the potting soil can drain. Otherwise, you may end up with root rot, a disease deadly to plants. So that's using diapers in your grow, which personally I don't think I would do. Let's see if we can find a different video. Hey, my video actually comes up when you search Bro Science. Bro Science experiments for proof. I didn't actually do the experiments, but I was talking about experiments that I wanted to do. Bro Science methods that we actually tried. The From the Stash podcast. Love those guys. The Bro Science Trails Hydroponic Cannabis. The Well-Rounded Novice. Dr. Bruce Bugby, Busting Cannabis Grow Myths with Proof. That's also a half-hour long video. How long is the From the Stash one? 42 minutes. Yeesh. No one's got like a 10 tips for top shelf cannabis. Not what we're looking for, dude, but I'm sure it's a great video. Yeah, no, I think we're just going to be better off on Google for what I'm looking for. Cannabis cultivation techniques, not what we're looking for. It has like sea of green, screen of green, super cropping, that kind of stuff. Here's a Reddit post. Long story short, on my second run, about to harvest, taking with a few other people in the cycle, told them flushing the girls, the harvest at the end of the month. They are telling me that it's Bro Science. Same thing when I did my last run. I read that 48 hours of darkness before was beneficial. Turned out to be shitty Bro Science. I looked up the stuff in the groups for weeks, but before starting, and this is my second successful harvest, but I don't want to keep wasting my time on methods that do nothing or don't work. What are some common Bro Science methods like this that people push in the cannabis growing community? So this seems like it could be a good thread if people actually posted answers that are relevant, so that I don't mess stuff up in the future, blah, 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 stuff about their specs. So flushing is Bro Science. It's been proven to not really be effective toward your final product. It doesn't really change anything. People say like people used to say like it gets rid of like heavy metals and the chlorophyll in your plants. That's proven to be untrue. And 48 hours of darkness before harvest, I'm not exactly sure what that does, but people believed that it would get you more trichomes, more resin, and also higher potency, possibly more terpenes. That is also proven not true, because the plants are actually here to get stressed by light to produce more trichomes, because it's a secondary sex characteristic made to capture pollen and not necessarily do anything with it. Use less newts in the end, so leaching, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Flushing is such a vague term for people that define it differently. That's completely true. There are the leaching people who cut off nutrients and then just use plain water for normal waterings, and then there are people who will run a ton of water through the pot a couple of times towards the end of that harvest. All turned out to be Bro Science. A lot of people fall into the trap of thinking that torturing the plant somehow helps the plant. Torturing the plant, if you are using precision stress methods, which from the Stash Boys, they did a great episode on precision stress methods that you can use to get a better plant. So torturing actually can help if you do it correctly in the right way for the right reasons. But let's see what the rest of this guy says. There are methods that use targeted and timed intentional stress, like drought stress, light stress, LST, HST, etc., that have scientific data backing them up, showing increased yield, terpene, in cannabinoid content, and this leads people to think that all stresses are good. You see people doing bizarre shit like driving a nail through the main stem, or super intense defoliation, throwing ice cubes all over the base of the plant, and etc. So, what, driving a nail through the main stem, I'm pretty sure that came out that it isn't super beneficial, or at least anecdotal evidence, not really showing a huge difference. But I guess it looks cool to have like a giant thing through your plant and be like, oh, look, my plant, it went through this. But I could also see how it could, I could see how someone would think that would work, but I'm not sure if it actually does. Super intense defoliation. There's a place for high defoliation. I've definitely had to do my fair share of high defoliation. Not super big of a problem depending on when you do it. Throwing ice cubes all over the base of the plant, so the cold shock method or cold stress method, which I don't necessarily think is... I don't think that's completely bros. Oh shit. I'll be back. Baby's crying. That was really weird. I hope I'm not like hearing shit and I'm schizophrenic. I basically went over there. She was completely silent and completely fine. I don't know. Maybe she had a bad dream or something. Jesus. So yeah, I don't think the ice cube thing is completely bro science. I think it might do something for the plant. I'm just not exactly sure what it is. A lot of the bad ideas come from the fact that cannabis was illegal to grow, and people don't really have the facts. So that's a pretty good, basically, overview. Someone says, I'm with you on everything except the defoliation. Intense defoliation can do wonders. For packed grows, I grew for 9 years before adopting the day 21 flower full defoliating, and I'll never not do it again. It does wonders uniformly. So that's some anecdotal evidence from this guy. If you have enough node development that the entire area is filled out even without those leaves, then the leaves aren't going to help. And it's better to remove them. That space is otherwise wasted, and the leaf isn't blocking anything to keep it. The best plants are healthy plants, and they don't magically make more goodies if you torture them. And then there's a bunch of pretentious shit because it's Reddit. Well, I'm a better grower because I do this, and I'm a better grower, but you suck because you do that. And it just turns into a fucking shit show really fast. It's all about introducing stress to get stress responses, more triggers, vital compounds, and these things work, kind of the flushing thing. People think it cleans the residual nutrients from the plant, but our studies are showing no scientific difference between flushing and non-flushing test numbers. That's completely true. That came out recently, and that's actually what that one video covers. Mr. Growit did a video covering flushing and that scientific study, as well as the 60/60 that we referenced earlier. and see if we can find an actual article that was written by somebody, or if it's really just Canna Gardening USA, Grow with Precision. Probably talks about techniques to help. Cultivation solution data is the best fertilizer. Am I really just going to be better off just talking about bro science methods that I participated in? Because really I've only done, what's bro science that I've done? Bro flushing, and I've done training isn't bro science, and I do a whole lot of that. I've done, what am I thinking of? The 60-60 curing method is one that I've also done. And flushing I feel like is good simply because there's no scientific difference backing up not flushing. So the fact that you can go through your grow, have a healthy plant, have all the numbers match up with a plant that was fed to harvest and not have to feed to harvest, I feel like that's going to be optimal for most people. Just save a little bit of money on nutrients. I did a video about that. I feel like I'd be repeating a lot of information.
Actually, the organic guys will talk about lactobacillus bacteria, for powdery.
Which is back to the Strange Bro Science hack that ended up being real video.
You definitely have. I've never done it because there's other products I think I prefer more. I'm kind of worried about a little bit what does dried milk look like on my leaves, but I think nutritionally it's not an issue. This says milk not only helps combat powdery mildew, but also provides extra nutrients. Dilute it with water and spray on your plants or around the roots. Some gardeners even inject it into the plant's stems.
That's what I thought was interesting. Injecting. What would you do if I went to Grambo's house and he's injecting milk into his?
They like it. Chill out, bro.
Oh man.
I personally would never inject anything into a cannabis plant. I don't think that would be fun.
My God. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But lactic acid bacteria. Interesting, right?
Yeah, well, we've covered plenty of easy ways to do that. Anybody can do their own little brew at home as far as making a lactic acid bacteria with a lot of beneficial things. I believe Guru used to talk about that with the compost as well or something. I've never gotten into it. I have between my compost bin, recycling, and other things in the kitchen, and then my wife brought home this Ninja air fryer that I'm like, you better not have bought that.
It doesn't sound like it'd be worth it.
I love my Ninja air fryer. It's changed my life, okay?
It changed his life so much I bought one.
That's good stuff, man.
I believe I saw Rasufa makes the LAB as they call it. You know, I believe he brews his own. It's like rice hulls and milk gives you the right consistency.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It says improved nutrient availability, enhanced soil structure because of bacteria, so it's sticky. It's making it soil advocate. Disease suppression. It says certain lactobacillus have been shown to produce antimicrobial compounds that can suppress harmful pathogens and pests in the soil. Kind of neat, man.
So this would be like a going the extra mile thing. Personally, I feel like if you're buying genetics from a quality, reputable breeder, it doesn't seem like you would have to do any of this. You would just kind of buy the plant, expect the genetics to be good, and not have to worry about a whole lot of issues. But if you really want to take it to the extra mile, get that insurance, this might be something to look into, the lactic acid bacteria brewing. But it doesn't seem like something I'm going to be doing anytime
Breaks
soon.
down compost faster. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here, man. Reduces chemical dependency, huh? Yeah, right.
My family could use something.
One good thing about these that I haven't touched on is when you see those metals, you know, and you see all that is somewhat, to some degree, a limited resource, not renewable, right? We're pulling nutrients out of the earth and mining them. So being able to reuse some of these things that you might have around in a more sustainable manner is pretty cool.
Please, nitrogen comes out of the air. All right, they suck it right out of the air. It's 78% nitrogen. Silica, come on, it's the second biggest second most common element in the world, man. All right, plenty of silica out there.
Aspirin. Aspirin
There's-
was popular for a while in the grocery store,
Aspirin?
man. People be like, dude, we're giving the plants aspirin. So it was interesting.
the-
So researchers
Yeah,
found
right.
that when water containing aspirin was sprayed on the seeds sown directly into the ground, there was 100% seed germination. Beds that didn't receive experienced spotty germination.
What the fuck? Using aspirin for germination? I'm going to be interested in what exactly. What? I've never even heard of that.
To use it, simply add 1.5 aspirins to 2 gallons of water, pour it into a spray bottle, and then spray your plants every 3 weeks. It will help strengthen the immune system of your plants so they can fight off disease. Now, this is what it is. It's salicylic acid is something that occurs
Salicylic.
naturally. Thank you. Naturally in plants, but in very low amounts. It's the same thing substance used to make aspirin, which may be why it only helps. Not only helps boost the immune system, but it can stimulate flowering. I don't think I've ever tried this. It sounds
That's interesting.
pretty damn easy. Everybody's got
Right. I just like it says research has found. What kind of research?
Well, I was like,
Internet
I was
research.
looking at them, and they were like looking at me, and we were both like
My
science.
friend put an aspirin in, and
Oh, man.
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I've heard about this. That's salicylic acid, right? I can barely say it too.
Is that like related to the monosaccharic acid? Is that like in the same family?
That's fucking the shit people do, man. I really am interested to know if this is something someone just did in their backyard or if this is really something that people have been doing scientific studies on or trying to find out what exactly is going on here with the salicylic acid. But it could be something interesting to try. You know, I have 10 peanut butter breath seeds. I could breed those and do some experimentation, possibly do a run of clones and then spray half of them with aspirin and see if it actually helps with, they said stimulating flower. I'm obviously not going to introduce any diseases into my garden. I don't think that's exactly a beneficial thing to try to do, especially for me personally, who doesn't want to kill plants. I want to try to get a harvest out of pretty much everything I grow, but it could be interesting to see if it stimulates flower, if it makes it flower quicker and start forming those buds faster, or more rapidly once it does hit that point, or if it just if it hits the increased yield department. That would be really interesting.
Well, am I saying it completely off?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's interesting stuff, man. And fact or fiction? Is it real?
Do it to 2 plants. I don't know. Do it to, you got to have the A/B testing, and you got to have the same strain, and you got to have, like, I'm a broken record with this. That's why we don't have a ton of good information. We do actually have a lot of good information. Well, it's hard to see what's really working in your garden and not. It's easy to get impatient. These cannabis plants in their life cycle take some time and some commitment to get the harvest
It's
right.
Yeah, but somebody like Jeremy, who was on last
very
week,
difficult
Reese
to do this
Genetics
kind of
for
stuff.
JLS Monster, banners right out of camera view. That guy is doing true A/B testing. He's really learned, but he's able to do it with thousands of plants and have,
That'd be
whatever,
more
when it's
reliable.
100
I'd only be
plant
able to do it with
or
like 10 to 12
half
plants.
get this fertilizer, half get that. Good stuff,
Yeah. Totally. The way to do it. I'm more and more just hearing, like I said, you got the dots. Dank Arts AZ is trying out some of the, oh my gosh, why am I brain farting on the dry powder mix? It's Jax, like the Jax products.
Jax 321, yeah. Another commercial there.
Plant availability as far as, okay, let them, sounds nice.
Well, it's got to be broken down though. That is definitely not plant available. So you put that in
It
there.
looks-
Lord.
I agree. It looks the same consistency kind of probably what you're going to put in with the, what is it again?
SiO2, silicon dioxide, and again, not plant available, but it is cool. I mean, a very similar idea. That one's got some calcium in it. Mine just has silica.
Silica is something I need to introduce to my garden.
Rock. Was it rock? Is that actually, that's where it comes from?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, really?
Spittoon and piss pot.
13 days on Earth.
after that. But yeah, throwing some copper pennies in there. I thought that was interesting. I guess through what
Get rid of
decay.
pennies.
Yes.
Someone gave me pennies the other day
Yes.
when I was in the States.
Who uses pennies?
I say we get rid of them, man. They are statistically worthless.
Right?
I had a joke in my act about you know how many pennies it takes to make a Bitcoin? You know, it's like let's get rid of it.
Wow. No, how many? Wow, that's a lot, right?
Statistically infinite.
There's a lot of pennies that it would take to make a Bitcoin.
Oh man, how about you guys ever hear of club soda? I've heard of this one back in the day.
Unfortunately, I have.
For CO2, man.
Yeah,
for
you
CO2.
put CO2 into the soil.
I tried.
Good
you
Lord.
can't get seltzer water. You gotta get clubs now. Carbonated water, man. Because seltzer has salt in it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
But okay, the reason this doesn't work, I believe, is they do have carbonation in the seltzer water, but your roots need oxygen. Your roots need to be oxygenated. Your water needs oxygen, and your plant itself, the plant, the vegetation matter, that is what needs and that is what it takes. That is the vegetation matter needs the CO2, and that's why it doesn't work. The CO2 doesn't go to the plant.
Carbonated water. Let's see, man. No? This one says the internet says yes. Says phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, and sodium. No way. It's water, man. So I bannered it.
Assuming a Bitcoin
Banner
is
off on the other side, man.
$42,000, it would take 4.2 million pennies
Today, eh?
to make a Bitcoin.
You guys wanna
I'm not
shop?
sure what
There's some
Bitcoin's
questions
sitting
up
at
on
right now.
geekbros.com. Invite code if you don't already have an account. It's Strain Dependent. It's a great place to peruse there to try and find some show content. GGC producers, man, if you guys are getting up bank nugs, you're getting up.
Celebrations when you take them off, you know?
I will tell you quickly, you never give a kid training wheels. The first bike should be a Strider. That's the bike they just scoot around on, and then they go right from that to.
I would
like,
argue
training
with
wheels
him,
is
but
like
his kid's
unnecessary
really good
crap.
at biking, so I'm inclined to believe everything the man says.
Dude, for the Saturday show, I think I just thought that was interesting that the free market, it's always been there, and there's really good weed coming out of people's. They do decompose when microbes get a hold of them. They bring them into the plant again, and then they go up into the circle.
Man, microbes.
Yeah,
What
that
can
is
ant
neat.
That's so crazy.
I was looking at those. I was watching
Microbes
some
are
video
super
a couple days
interesting.
ago.
When I was first getting
Bacteria
into
are
them,
just
they
like
were
these
really
little
fun to
nutrient
learn about.
bags, and the nutrient gets stuck to
The book
them.
Teaming
They
with
make
Microbes does a
organic acids that
huge
can
help
solubilize
in
nutrients
trying to
and
understand
break it
that.
down, but they can't move. So then this fungus network comes in, the mycorrhizae network comes in, and it makes it just puts roots or hyphae everywhere, the thinnest roots.
I didn't know that. Microbes are immobile.
Yeah, well, no, the bacteria is, and then
Okay.
this hyphae, this mycorrhizae can come in and just access every little nook and cranny, and it grabs these bacteria, it solubilizes them and brings that nutrient up to the plant.
Damn.
Yeah,
Microbes.
it
Like
is
this is
cool,
how about
man.
I was trying to do a quick Google search on the human body. I forgot like how quick it is after you die that the microbes go to work. And the title
Oh,
from
yeah.
National Geographic is your body's surrounded by microbes waiting for you to die. It's there waiting.
That's kind of fucking morbid.
Rambo, you remember Slim Goodbody back in the day?
Oh, of course. Yeah,
was
it's some of my
alright,
earliest memories is
Dude
that
was
guy.
all right.
Can we even show him without getting...
Yeah, no, that's kind of fucked up. So, one thing we could look into is the 60-60 drying study, because I still don't understand it. Like, I've watched this video more than once, and I read the study myself, and I still don't understand what the hell was going on, so I think it might be good to watch Mr. Growit talk about this one more time, see if I can wrap my mind around it with a little more
A new
understanding.
study done on the drying process reveals that the 60-60 method actually results in less terpenes compared to a different drying method. The 60-60 method, for those of you that don't know, is simply drying in a space that is 60 degrees Fahrenheit in a relative humidity of 60%. Drying in these conditions result in the plants not drying too fast and also not drying too slow.
That's 'cause that's what
Final product has
Americans
enough moisture
do.
in it, so it's not too dry and harsh when consumed. The 60-60 method is widely spoken about across the community.
It's called freedom.
It's deemed as the best conditions to dry in. And these conditions are also used in many commercial facilities as well. But what is the science behind the 60-60 method, if any? And what does this new study reveal? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris, aka Mr. Growit, and you're tuned into my Garden Talk channel. Got a juicy one for you today. This one is going to raise some eyebrows. This one is going to cause some people to feel anger. This one is also going to cause people to actually change the way they go about the drying process.
Which is what I want to do. I just want to understand it.
Back when I first heard about drying in those specific conditions, I did a deep dive to try to find studies to back its legitimacy. And there wasn't any studies available at all. In fact, still to this day, I don't think there are any studies on the 60-60 dry method. If I'm mistaken, please post a link down in the comment section below. I'd love to read
Probably
it. But
not.
as of this recording in late 2023, there are no studies on the 60-60 method. Although there isn't any science behind the 60-60 method, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work well. I personally
Here, let's see
used
if there's
the
anything new.
60-60 dry method for several harvests for the past 5+ years, and the final product was great. So I'm certainly not saying that it is a bad way to go about it by any means. But finding out that a study has been done on the 60-60 method, comparing it to a different drying method, and that different drying method showed better results, had to share it. The title says, Vapor Troll technology is proven to retain higher terpene levels. The Vapor Troll technology is in the Canatrol Cool Cure. Some of you have seen the videos that I've made on that system in the past. It goes on to say, independent research conducted by the CRC in cooperation with the hemp mine. Canatrol samples were held at 68 degrees Fahrenheit dry bulb and a 54 degree Fahrenheit dew point. Legacy samples were held at 60 degree Fahrenheit dry bulb and 60% RH, using traditional HVAC equipment with dehumidifiers. In order to combat negative side effects from mishandling at a testing facility, samples were extracted immediately after post-harvest treatment. Additionally, water content was measured to correct for water dilution. By the way, I'll have a link to the study down in the YouTube
So
description section below.
68,
It also shows this chart that breaks it
57?
down by different terpenes and shows the total terpenes. The samples held in the Canatrol at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 54 dew point, had
54.
16% higher terpenes than the samples dried with the 60-60 method. That's actually all that they show on this page right now. I'd like to see more information on this study, such as how long were the samples dried for. I have to assume that more details will come out on this eventually, and that this is just the initial announcement. Taking a deeper look into the CRC who conducted the research, I see some credible people here. Dr. James Faust, Dr. Allison Justice, Ashley Manning, who's the COO, Dr. Miley Shields, Dr. Marcus Rogan, Selena LeBlanc, and Michael Alden are listed as the leaders. And I'm very sorry if I pronounced any of those names wrong. I do offend.
All right, so basically 68 degrees Fahrenheit and 54% relative humidity rather than the 60-60 method that we have been using, or at least that I've been using, and Mr. Growit apparently also has been using, and many others in the cannabis community have been using for decades, apparently is not optimal. Now that I know that, I'm going to make a mental note, and I'll probably write it down somewhere, that these are the targets that I'm going to be looking for when I'm going into curing my cannabis for higher terpene content, because terpenes are kind of my thing, man. I kind of like them. So that's something we're going to be doing.
Fantastic job at butchering names.
Balake. Yes, sir.
My name's Blake.
Hells yeah. So we went over some pretty interesting ones. Is there anyone in chat that has a specific bro science method that they've either used and had some benefits from, or used and feel like they've wasted their time, or something they've heard of that they have never used but heard of people using? I remember I was working with someone at the actual car factory, And he said that his dad has been doing this thing where he'll harvest his outdoor plants and then he'll fill a bathtub with, I can't remember if it was hot or cold water. I think it was cold water. He'd fill it with cold water and then they would just dunk the entire plant in there. And he said that would shock the THC and create more of it. I don't know what in his brain logicked that together. I think it's just something that he was told by his dad, and he was like, well, my dad probably knows what he's talking about, so I'll just keep doing this thing. But that absolutely does not make any sense. Scientifically speaking, no part of the plant is getting shocked into making more THC. Like, the only way you could do that is, well, not the only way, but one of the ways you could do that is doing light stress, which actually will create more trichomes. And if you do that with the light stress, you'll create a higher trichome density, which will in turn create more THC, but not necessarily have your trichomes hold more THC, if that makes sense. At least as far as I understand. But there isn't really a whole lot more I can get into with bro science. The diaper thing was pretty interesting. The aspirin was pretty out there. Something I never heard of before. That was new. Hearing that microbes are on my skin and surrounding me, just waiting for me to die, is kind of morbid, and I'll probably be able to think about that when I'm super high later today. And keep your plants at 68 degrees Fahrenheit and 54% humidity. And I think we're going to cut it a little bit short today. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If anyone has any final thoughts they would like to share, I would love to hear them. But until next time, I think this is going to be it. Bro science. It be happening. It has been happening. And I cannot wait until a lot of these things get studied, either by anecdotal and saying, hey, here are the results I had. I don't know if there's more to it, but this is what happened. And also scientific studies that can actually measure what has been going on inside the chemistry and the plant and the actual growth of a lot of the things inside the plant. But until then, we're just going to be shrouded in mystery and kind of have to find out for ourselves what is bro science and what is science. And hey, guys, I got a video dropping in 3 hours, and I hope you enjoy that video. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it's going to be a hype drop. I also have a video dropping at 6 in the morning on Friday, which is also going to be a hype drop. I think that this week's content is pretty good, personally. And I enjoyed making the videos this week for you guys and doing all of the live streams. I'm having a really great time. And next week, I'm doing something pretty big that's going to be coming out next month. And I'm super excited for you guys to see that. It's something I've been looking forward to pretty much ever since I started creating content on this platform. So that's going to be super crazy. And I'm just super hyped for everything that's going to be coming this year. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about all this random stuff. I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.